Hello there, mate. Hello there. What are we gonna do today, bruh? We're gonna do shadowing, of course. What you mean? What you mean? What we gonna do today? We're gonna do shadowing, right? Where were we? Natives break rules. I finished half of that. Today we're gonna finish off native break rules. Imitate. You can do it with shadowing. What does it mean? Just you want to say it yourself, right? Do you want to hear those natural phrases? Copy them. You can write them down. Make a little notebook if you want. You can then just read them out loud. That's fine. Read afterwards. No natural phrase. Just get you used to them, saying them. Or you can shadow. You could be listening to one of my mini soul lessons, and then as you're listening, you also saying you're trying to copy what I'm saying. You're speaking at the same time. Shadowing. Do a search on my YouTube channel, or you want to learn more about that technique. It's very good. But step 2 is imitate. Copy the native speaker. Number 3, messy speaking. Relax. Decide now. I'm not going to let myself be messy. I'm not going to let myself talk like a native speaker, which is not focused on all these little textbook rules. I'm going to let myself make these mistakes. Just let it pick skin in fragments, split my infinitive in all these things. I'm going to relax. Okay, so step 3, let yourself speak in a messy way. Messy is the opposite of neat, perfect, right? Number 4, get my system. You can comment below YouTube, Facebook, or especially Instagram. Just put a comment book, B-O-O-K, one word. Put that. You get a link to download my free book, Effortless English, Learn to Speak English Like a Native. I'll give that away for free to my audience, to you. You have any download it, to send an email, and we'll make sure to get the right link and don't have any problems. All right then. So this is all very important, okay? You want to commit, don't quit, and you got to relax. I don't know, you call it English trauma. Like I used to say it as a joke, now I think it's real. Trauma is something you're going to hurt deep inside, right? Pain. Like, that's just English trauma, because all those years of you hearing this nonsense about you have to speak with all these rules and the teaching at the very, very unnatural, what's the word, academic really, right? School English, and then you get confused. You just start hear me make these mistakes about supposedly I'm breaking the rules. You listen to YouTube, you listen to movies, you listen to podcasts, and the native speaker with the breaking the so-called rules all the time, and then it become quite confusing. Wait. Doesn't you say, I make a big mistake, you try to catch a mistake, and just catch in your head. In your head, you're correcting native speaker, thinking you know more than they do. You don't. They are better at English than you are, okay? Just like you're better in your language than people who learn it as foreigners. Okay, so you have to just trust the real world. What's actually happening, what's happening in the real world is that breaking those rules, because those rules are not really rules. They're rules for super formal academic reading English in a school setting, or maybe very specific situation. They're not rules for speaking at all. So you better relax about this, because it does hurt how people see you. It's hurt your actual communication ability. It makes you look less charismatic, less warm. You can sound very, very weird when you try to follow those rules. So relax. All right, let's do our live comments and questions now. Let's pull them up on my screen so you can see you guys. And all right, here we go. Whoops. Come on, man. All right. Hi, I'm Marco from Brazil. I've been learning from you since 2009. That's my almost all fields I've started. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Ole Brazil. Thank you very much, Brazil. Thank you. Thank you, Marcos. I have a lot of Brazilian followers. Okay, someone has got Arabic writing. This is the first time I attended your live online. I really appreciate your support. Help me develop my English so much. You're welcome. User number NL6YD said that my English is improved since I start listening to AJ Ho. Good, good. Okay, whoops. My screen jump around. I got YouTube sometimes. Then suddenly jump to the bottom. So my comment, and I can't read it every single comment. There's a lot of them, so I do my best. When teaching math, they say math to non-native speakers. What my language is the better way, best way to communicate in English or in mother tongue. I don't know. It depends on the situation. I guess this depends on their English ability. It depends on learning English is more important, or is it learning the math more important? Probably their native language, this is the best, because those 100% be able to understand you much better. Is that English is not good? Math can be just pretty abstract. So if their English is not at a good level, they may struggle to understand. So if it doesn't matter, if you can choose either one, probably then the native language is the best. Okay. Hi, during my learning, I understood what you said. Don't learn with music. But as a French rapper, I think that learning with rap can be a good thing for me. Well, yeah, that's something you do specifically. It's a hobby or a career. Then you probably should listen to rap in English. Yeah, for most people, I say don't use English lyrics, like the words in the English song. Don't try to learn English from that, because it's often does not make sense, right? I gave the really old example of the Beatles, the song "I Am the Walrus," right? You ever heard that? Go look it up on YouTube. "I Am the Walrus." You try to figure out what that song's about, you go crazy, okay? I am here, we're here, we're all together under this. It's kind of like a lot of there's a nonsense. It's just a little images, right? There's no clear meaning. Maybe John Wimmy know what it means, but most people can't figure it out, even native speakers. So this is a problem with music, and poetry can be this way. So for the purpose of improving your English, I'd say TVs and movies much better than music. So my John said, I need to finish writing my thesis in English. Do you have any suggestion about writing a thesis in English? So writing a thesis now, we're talking about academic, I guess, assume, I don't know, master degrees maybe. So now you're talking about academics, so you're really in your setting, and you're in grad school. So everything I said for this, for real speaking, I actually have to follow those rules. You will. For that kind of writing and this purpose, then yeah, that's when the rules actually do apply, when you actually do need to follow all of them. I would say this, my advice is write your first draft quickly. Don't even think about grammar rules. So just write it, get your ideas on the screen, on the paper, on the computer first. Write it out, then go back, and then you start to make correction, okay? Then you can run it through, AI for grammar correction. You can run it through the different program, for grammars, there may be grammar succession. I think important too. You can have a native speaker read it through, give you some suggestion, and you can have a professional do it. One of the difference is everyday spoken grammar between native speaker who went to school and those who didn't. Is exactly between an educated, let's say, native speaker and an uneducated native speaker. It's a good question. So the educated speaker, all the rules that discussed today, they will break. Maybe not the double negative. Okay? Usually when I speak. So that might be one case where it definitely make you sound less educated to do a negative. All the other rules I discussed, I break them all the time. You'll hear, politicians, you hear CEOs of company breaking those rules all the time. So, that I think that's probably the key thing. And I think that an educated speaker is going to be probably far better with the basic things like subject-verb agreement, right? Those using the correct verb tenses. So those rules that I said you probably do need to follow most of the time. And then a lot of it is just, the style of speech and the topic. So they'll use more uneducated people, quote unquote, lower class people, whatever you want to call them. They're going to use more words. They're going to maybe cussing, maybe more bad, profanity, things like that. Right? It's kind of more use of rude words, talking about rude topics, things like that. Just not, there's not such a huge grammar fit, maybe a bit, but that's probably the key one. Okay, what the Bronze said, how does the VPP membership works? $1 for trial for 10 days. You can try it, see if you like it. After that, it's $37 each month. So keep and try it for $1. If you don't like it, just you cancel before 10 days. If you do like it, you continue on, you get charged $37 each month. This is really good for getting those advanced level. If you're already a kind of, say, high intermediate already, you're going to get to advanced, then get higher of advanced. That's what my VIP program is for. It's at effortlessenglishclub.com. It's my site where you can get all my courses. Tidy apps. This is do all native speaker use almost the same expression and daily speech. Yeah, we all have what I call the signature of favorite things we say, favorite phrases like we say. That's true, and a lot of them are just common. Almost everybody uses it, and sometimes individual people have their favorites, right? So your own kind of speaking style for sure. All right. So when the question says, AJ, which language is important after English, and you have opinion in general? It depends on what you're looking for, right? What language purpose you have. But we're talking generally about business and things like that, science. Then, I don't know, probably what? Chinese, Russian, Spanish. This is just so really, it's just you have depend really what the markets, what you focus on. It's if it's for business, so it can really be specific. If you're not dealing with China in your business, in your job, in your career, then you don't need Chinese, do you? If you're not dealing with Russia, you don't need Russia. You're not dealing with Latin America or Spain, that you don't need Spanish. It's really just I think it's hard to say because that really depend on what your focus is and the kind of career you're in, the kind of company you're in, who you're dealing with. You kind of decide that yourself, right? So my second language, Spanish, would be a great answer because it's to give you a very large number of people in a large area, right? You took almost all the Latin America except Brazil, and you have Spain. So Spanish is a pretty big piece of the world that you can communicate with one language, Spanish. The argument for Chinese, of course, is their kind of rising power economically, probably have already passed it in the United States. It will continue to grow, so we know that for manufacturing, every country that manufacture and make something that dealing with China, so there's a very good argument for China. So I think you find that often people will discuss those two languages if you're just trying to get the large amount of impact. But it's true for also is also that for international business and career, even China, even in Latin America, you're going to find a lot of English is used. When you have international teams, you have people from different countries communicating, they're often going to go to English as the language they would use. Great. We're losing the internet. Come on. Okay, back. I will just lost internet a little bit. All right, here we go again. Okay, let's see. I'll get time for a couple more maybe. Okay, so the channel just 3 hours. I understand you very well, but when I try to listen to the news or watch movie, I don't understand many things. So, well, great. So why is that? Because in movies, they might be using a lot of idioms and slang. They might be speaking more quickly, probably are. So use the movie technique. You think you can understand me very well. You understand my lesson very well. You understand a lot of other people give speeches like things like that. When it's a struggle, when you hear, for example, in movies, two people talking to each other, they're usually going to speak a little bit faster than both native speaker, right? They're not giving speeches, it's a conversation. So again, search my channel for movie technique. This is my YouTube channel, AJ Hook. And you're probably ready to start using that movie technique now. I have a little problem with my internet connection right now. This happens in Japan, but my connection is not good when we're in the United States. In India, we have generally a very fast internet connection. With Japan, internet is a little so. Jacko says, do we need to understand the meaning of videos, audios, or lessons before we practice listening, or should we understand them? So I think you're asking, like, for example, reading the transcript, is that what you're saying? I'm not sure. But the general, just one you understand, you only learn if you understand. You can just start with something. In the beginning, you don't understand it. That's fine. But you can use it if you're watching movie, for example, you can turn on the subtitle. And again, with the movie technique, not my movie technique, it's developed by Dr. Hastings and Dr. Murphy, who taught me. But anyway, the idea is you go and take one scene, you can turn on the subtitle, you watch it, you can write down phrases you don't understand, you look at them up if you need to. So the idea is you do learn and understand what you're listening to. And sometimes you get that bit, you get to watch scene, maybe watch 5 minutes, just take some notes, you go back, to watch it again, you go back, to go watch it again, and starting to understand, turn up the subtitle, go back, do it again. Right, until you really learn it, and then you go on and do the next scene, and the next scene, and the next scene. So yeah, you definitely want to, I guess you could listen to hear the sounds, maybe for pronunciation. If you're really focusing on pronunciation, and so it's less important to understand everything, because you're focusing on the sounds more, just the pronunciation, sounds, and rhythm, the music of the language. But in general, absolutely, you want to understand. Last question, and then I go because my internet connection has some issues here. When I'm imitating and shadowing as Hanyan, when I'm imitating and shadowing, should I look at subtitles? Yeah, you can. You can now. You might want to start the first few times with no subtitles, which is very difficult, right? Okay, it's gonna be difficult. You probably struggle, but it's good because when you don't have subtitle, it will really force you to listen, and that's good for you. As I would say, for the first few times when you're using an audio, doing shadowing, no subtitle, no text, just focus on listening only. And you don't be too upset you can't understand a lot. Probably that's going to happen. But just do it, lock in, and do your best. Then go back, turn on the subtitle or look at the text, and then you can read or read the subtitle or read the transcript of the text and continue shadowing. Obviously, that'll be easier. And then after you do that for a while, and you get getting better, you're really starting to know this audio better and better. Turn the subtitle back off, put away the text, and then just back to pure shadowing, ears only. I think that would be a good one. All right, I think that's it for internet connection. It's not going to go much more here. So lots of love to you. Get my book for free. Effortless English Club is back here. Effortless English. Learn to speak English like a native. Just comment book BOOK. I'll put the link in the description below when you YouTube. On Instagram, if you comment book, my Instagram account will automatically send you the link. If you have any problem, there's an email there. You can email or we'll get you another language. That will definitely work for you. So lots of love to you. Break those rules. Go back, listen to the show again. Break those rules. Speak in a natural way. Keep your confidence and your strong communication ability at the top. It's the number one thing. You're trying to improve your life. You're going to contribute to have a better life. You want more freedom. So do that. You need to communicate in a confident way, in a natural, in a warm way when you're building connection with people. So don't worry about breaking the rules. In fact, you need to break it to sound more natural. Lots of love to you. I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Another day. Another day, bro. How was that? Today's episode, the speakers, they stop. I don't speak as much because they answer questions. So there's a lot of breaks. But it's fine. Another day, another 30 minutes. Let's keep the rock moving. Don't stop just a little bit every day. The consistency, Consistency is key. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.